And I'm Kim.
And this here's the wildest vlog in the wilderness.
After Jungle Cruise, we headed over to Liberty Square to Haunted Mansion, which is, as you know, my favorite attraction. We did not take video in there because
It's dark.
one of our favorite things to do is, well, A, to check out the queue on the way up because it was reimagined a few years ago and it's really, really something now.
Yeah.
But we also really enjoy checking out the pet cemetery afterwards.
Yes.
It's a little bit beyond the exit to the ride. If you look up to the left behind a fence, there is an entire pet cemetery. A lot of good puns there.
You have to really look. I mean, some of them are not that easy to spot, like Mr. Toad.
Who is at the very back, Mr.
Yes.
Toad of Toad Hall. There was a former attraction in Fantasyland, Mr. Toad's Wild Ride, and when that closed, it made room for Winnie the Pooh. And you can actually, fun fact, in Winnie the Pooh, in Owl's house, you can actually see a photo of Mr. Toad handing the deed to Owl. But there is also an homage to Mr. Toad in the pet cemetery.
And we also, when we were in Liberty Square, caught the Muppet show.
We did.
That they do now. So they put on the Muppets put on a little act in Liberty Square.
Paul Revere upon his stick horse did ride, and by the light of the silvery moon he trod. Oh, what is that music? By the light.
Not the dark, but the light.
Oh, this is... Stop it.
Not the sun, but
Stop
the
it.
moon.
I want you. Stop it. That's
Not the fork,
I will
but
not have fun this historic moment with this singing.
Hey, what are you doing?
I made some changes in the play. Now I have a musical number.
Well, you can't just write yourself into the play. That's not how it works.
Oh, okay. Then let's see how this works.
What?
And it is hilarious and very Muppets, and I was thrilled to see them.
So then we headed over back to Tommorrowland. We were really crisscrossing the park, and we hit the perennial classic Carousel of Progress, which is not just an excuse to take a nap. It is a great attraction. It's history. It is everything. I mean, it's an original. It's something that Walt himself worked on. It is so worth the time to go see it. While we were still in Tommorrowland, we headed over to the Tommorrowland Transit Authority Peoplemover.
Please step carefully onto the moving platform, then step into the car.
Along the way, you can preview many of the exciting places you want to be sure to enjoy today while visiting this land of tomorrow. The Peoplemover is the perfect vehicle for people watching, so keep your eyes peeled. You never know who you might see.
Oh, look at the castle.
And it holds one of my favorite things on Disney property, which is the early model of Epcot, but not Epcot as we know it, the experimental prototype community of tomorrow that Walt had envisioned.
Progress City was the inspiration for Epcot, and many of its forward-thinking ideas have been realized throughout Walt Disney. Charlie, do you want to visit one of these stunt traders where you find the greatest things from around the galaxy? That's right.
There's the racetrack.
Put the pedal to the metal and speed towards the checkered flag in your very own race car. Young or old,
Yeah, we did.
to drive to the fast lane without worrying about getting a speeding ticket.
Maybe we're going in Space Mountain to get ready.
Welcome back to Tommorrowland. Be sure to visit Space Mountain while you're here for an adventure that's out of this world. For a different high-flying adventure, hop on board the Astro Orbiter. In your own spacecraft, you take a spin around the planet and we're now approaching Disney's Carousel Progress. Inside this rotating theater, 4 families welcome you to their homes of Disney today, starting way back at the turn of the 20th century.
Now, we actually got stuck on the People Mover
For like 15 minutes.
plus. We had to be walked off by cast members.
Yes, we finished the ride by walking on the track, which was kind of fun.
It was interesting to see it in that way too. I mean, that's an experience that you don't really get a lot, which, like, of course, it's always a bummer when something doesn't go as planned, but you know, the bright side is you're walking on the People Mover tracks. That's kind of cool. We were given a free Anytime Fast Pass, which we would go on to use later in the day, but not before we had lunch at Skipper Canteen.
Skipper Canteen. One of our favorites, absolute favorite places to eat in Disney. Certainly one of the top to eat in park.
One of my favorite things about this particular lunch at Skipper Canteen was, for the first time, I had a glass of wine in the Magic Kingdom.
It was legit. Let me tell you, after running back and forth in Magic Kingdom, going to sit in an air-conditioned restaurant and getting this like beautiful food, it's amazing food in there, and like a cold glass of white wine and just like sipping wine, you feel like you're becoming a human being again. And the service is funny. It's Jungle Cruise themed. There's a lot of jokes. The servers are very witty, very quick.
The restaurant itself is amazingly well themed. I mean, it's so worth just walking through all the different rooms. There's so many visual things, sight gags, like little things they've hidden in there, and it's really, really a cool restaurant.
It is. And the food is great. It is not your mother's Magic Kingdom food. It's not chicken fingers and turkey legs and fries. I don't think there's anything wrong with that food, but it is like, it's a world away from that. So if you want a lunch that's off that kind of beaten path, Skipper Canteen is definitely the place to go.
After that, I finally got Kim to climb up the Swiss Family Treehouse, which she had never done before. But the Swiss Family Robinson, I grew up watching that movie, and I think that the treehouse is such a great homage.
And again, nice views of the park.
Excellent views of the park, especially at night. After that, we actually stayed in Adventureland, and we headed to one of my other favorites, Pirates of the Caribbean.
So because it had been closed all morning, we weren't sure if we were going to have time to go on Pirates because we didn't have a fast pass for it. For the end of our time in the park, we realized that it was open again, and the line was pretty long, and we realized we had our Anytime Fast Passes from the People Mover breaking down, and it was perfect. That was the last ride we did in Magic Kingdom, walked right on with our Fast Passes, and had a grand old Pirates time.
So after that, we did leave the Magic Kingdom for the morning. So we headed back to our car and we drove straight to Animal Kingdom, which we will be sharing with you guys next week. We had a great evening in Animal Kingdom. We're really excited to share that with you guys next week. But until then, bye!
Bye!